brilliant big 30-second scale fighter aircraft kit. This is the Heinkel 219AO Uhu by Zoukei-Mura. Hello, I am Kobey from Hearns Hobbies, and today I'll be taking a look at a brilliant big 30-second scale fighter aircraft kit. This is the Heinkel 219AO Uhu by Zoukei-Mura. So let's have a look at the exterior of the kit because there is so much that we have to unpack. So we're going to start on the outside. Here we have the beautiful box art. Looks like it is over Germany, Berlin, I believe. We've got Lancaster in the corner here going down that we presume it's just shot down, and the beautiful subject in the very middle of the box. Very easy to read front box, and this is a part of the Super Wing series number 6. So this is the 6th kit in their 30-second scale collection of those aircraft. And then we're going to have a look here. We're getting a little peek at the skeleton of the aircraft. Picking out some of the details, we have the built-up version of the aircraft here. Cockpit, engine detail, landing gear detail, and I believe that is some of the framing the gun bay detail. Side the box, very, very nice. Let's go straight in to the kit. Now this one is a very tight box. There we go. Oh, and it's been boxed up perfectly with the top as well. So I'll leave this one there for the moment in the corner. I believe we're going to be opening it like so. Okay, look at this. First thing we're met with is the beautiful instruction manual, masks, decals, and we'll have a look through that later. We are met with lots and lots of sprues because the detail in this kit is absolutely insane. So I'm just going to focus this in. So we have wings, engine nacelles, and tops of wings where the fuel tanks are. I'll take a closer look into these bags in a second. Clear parts here. And then a beautiful thing, I can see we have inner frames. So we'll have a dive into that soon. More engine nacelles, gear bay doors. You can have the cowling extended or retracted. Gun bays and wheels. This will probably be a duplicate sprue. Yes, I was right. Duplicate sprue here of landing gear parts, propeller hubs, antennas. We'll have a close look at that one. Here we have got, I presume, more clear parts. Having a look at this one. Yes, I believe we've got more canopies, potentially for a different version. We've got some engine detail in here. It actually looks like this is one engine, 2 engines. So that's a duplicate sprue. All inner frame of the aircraft, so we'll get to that soon. But one of the perks of this kit that it boasts is it has what we refer to in Gundam terminology as an inner frame. Okay, more inner frame, cockpit detail. We'll have a good look through that. Looking very, very beautiful. Fuselage parts, so you're going to see that this is quite limited, but definitely all there. Here we have got the metal nose weight, I believe. So metal landing gear, white metal landing gear, and then in here, I think we'll have a look at this one in the instructions just because it'll be a little bit harder to dissect, but you're getting metal landing gear and a metal nose weight, as this aircraft is notorious for tail sitting. So there is another 30-second scale version of this aeroplane by Revell, but it is quite outdated and it doesn't boast the level of detail that this one does, which you'll soon find out in the instructions. Here we have got the beautiful tail of this aircraft, very, very distinctive tail, and the final piece of the fuselage halves here. So we've got top, sides, and then the bottom is what we just had a look at before. A couple of antennas, couple of access panels, and the nose, the iconic nose of the owl. So Uhu in German means owl. That was the designation of this aircraft. So I'm going to put this one down here for the time being, and let's dive into some of these sprues. I would like to have a look in this sprue, just as it boasts quite a bit of detail. Just along there. Beautiful. So the plastic is in a very nice smooth finish, which is very ideal for something like this kit. If you're getting texture on a 30-second scale aircraft, you're going to be able to notice it somewhat. So a really nice plastic mold for a 30-second scale aircraft like this is quite important in my opinion. So it's very nice molds the texture. As you can see, the reflection there, very, very smooth. And what have we got here? These are all of the inner ribs. So you're going to be getting inner parts. It's basically, as I was saying before, full interior inner frame of this aircraft. So as you can see here, this is also a good guide if you want to do all of the riveting on this aircraft, which I'd highly recommend doing. They've given you a good base to do so with that. So I'd say the detail on this kit, especially if I can zoom in on some of these access panels, very, very nice molded crisp texture in scale. And then they've got the panel lines, which are very, very nice as well. A lot of people like just having those features prominent, and then they can airbrush around and modulate and work in that detail where all the ribs are. Or you can add your riveting for an enhanced look, an even more super detailed look into that one, because it'll be a finer rivet than something like they were molding, and they want to give you the opportunity to have difference between the two. So beautiful nose. We've got the rear part here, the tail of the aircraft. So we'll go down here. Still a little bit of inner framing on the rear part here where the tail goes. Tail is pretty self-explanatory. You're also getting a little bit of the inner frame there if you choose to use that. Build that up there. We'll take a look. We've just gone through the fuselage, so I won't go into too much detail on this one, but you're once again getting nice sized access panels down here and nice panel lines, and your guns are going to sit in here. The big 30mm cannons had 4 30mm cannons, I believe. We will have a look in this sprue. This is the winged inner frame, and it looks like some more of the inner frame detail parts for the interior, being the cockpit and all up in that nose section of the aircraft. So let's take this one out. They've given you a cardboard support, I believe, just here, so that you don't snap these parts that will also go in there, where the sprue gates kind of sit. Zoom out a bit so we can get an initial look at the frame. So this will be pretty much your wingspan, plus another maybe 3 or 4 centimeters on each side. So a really nice size for a fighter aircraft. Very, very beautiful. You're getting a couple of options of seats. So for the front seat, it has, let's zoom in now. For the front seat, you can have either molded seat belts, which look actually really nice, or they give you the seat without the molded detail. This is the radio equipment up the front. And then we have instrument panel here with some beautiful, let's see if I can zoom in even further with that. There we go. Some beautiful dial texture there, as well as on the side walls. Very, very beautiful texture and mold crispness of that. You have the control stick there. Rudder pedals up in the corner over here. This will be all internal parts. I believe this has something to do with the oxygen system. Have the floor of the wheel bays, I believe. And then on this side is all of the cockpit area. So you'll be gluing the rudder pedals in here, the seats back to back here, as this had a radio operator, as it was a night fighter, as the schemes that you'll see in the box. Well, the scheme. Zoukei-Mura, they pride themselves on detail, and then you get one scheme in the box, but it doesn't mean that you can't go and find some aftermarket for a second or third scheme. They just want to give you a really nice kit that you can go off and create what you would prefer with it. So here we have the rear seat as well. I believe it's molded in 2 parts as well. Zoom in there. Once again, this is the upright part of the seat, and it had a lap belt. So here's the lap belt version in there. Very, very nice molded detail. And here is the empty version without the seat belts. If you choose to either make your own or use some aftermarket, they're giving you the option of that. And there's the radio radar area there. So you can see the very nice, beautiful detail on those parts. They're very 4D, sorry, very 4D. Very beautiful molding texture there. So this has been a very, very beautiful sprue. I'd say this is one of the first sprues you're looking at. Oh look, they have a flare gun even molded in there. Very, very nice detail. Very impressive. Very, very impressive model. And we'll take a look at the next sprue. I think we'll be going into... I'm not going to speak too soon. Yes, thank God I didn't. I wanted to have a look at the engine, but that's the one after this. We'll have a look in here. So with the skeleton, it'll all make sense when we look into the instructions. But essentially what we're looking at here is along the spine of the aircraft. This is a very long aircraft. You're basically getting all of the fuel tanks. You're getting all of the hose accessories and everything correlating to that on this sprue here. All of the levers and pulleys for the systems, and also the gun area. So let's take a close look at some of these parts here. Beautiful, beautiful mold detail on these top parts here. We'll probably get a little bit more explanation in the instructions. So I believe these are probably the bottom halves of the fuel compartments, or the top halves, but they will mate with the fuel parts there. We have bulkheads for the landing gear, I believe, in quite a few different parts. And what else have we got? We've got the 30mm cannons underneath. This will be the top spine of the aircraft. Some radar equipment, aileron balancers, exhaust parts, and here we have the inner frame relating to and correlating to the elevators and rudders, I believe, that will run down to the rear of the aircraft from the cockpit. Now I get to have a look at the engines. So it's a duplicate sprue. I'm just going to open one and we'll have a look at that, but you do get 2 of these sprues in the model. Okay, so it's molded in a few parts. So here we have the it comes with pistons. There you go, the piston arms are there. And we have a turbo manifold, injection leads. I'm not an aircraft mechanic, so I don't, or just a mechanic in general, so I'm not too familiar on terminology. But these are very, very nice detailed parts. All obviously molded in a sequence there. What else have we got? And here we have over here the propeller hub. More bulkheads. This will be the bulkhead that it all bolts onto. The bulkhead for engine mounts. This controls the cooling system, I believe. So you can pose it either open or closed, as I was mentioning before. We have some oil housings here. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. What else do we have? Probably getting 7 or 8 sprues in this one. Several. Landing gear hubs just there. We've got the exhaust manifolds and the exhaust stacks. They came with covers as it was a night fighter in operation from 1942 or 43, I believe. They were fighting against the Lancaster bombers and the Halifaxes, the British Air Force, flying over Germany doing the night raids. These were interceptors in that area of aircraft, of fighting capabilities. Really, really bulky rear landing gear. muzzle brakes for the guns, which are slide molded. They are already pre-opened, pre-hollow. Antennas, radio antennas, really nice and chunky in this scale, which is good. Very, very nice. Big wheels molded in 2 parts. A little bit of sanding necessary. And I forgot to mention the big prop. Dual engine fighter. Here we have got the front wheel, the nose wheel of the aircraft, which is quite bulky as well, with a 2-part molding system for the tyre. All that relating there. That's the nose radar. So it had 4 radars coming out of the nose and then 1 directly in the middle. And this was the one that was situated in the middle. Here we have some more of the cannons here and some belt-fed rounds that you can paint up. Nice detail, very, very beautiful detail. Engine nacelles are pretty self-explanatory here. And the cowling, as I said, it can be positioned either opened or closed. Getting to choose those 2, which we'll look further into in the instructions. Duplicate. We'll go into the clear parts, give you a good look at those. Tops of the engine nacelles, I'm going to come out here, and all the access panels. So access panels can be glued in or out. Beautiful, beautiful molding on these intakes there, air intakes. Here we have got what looks like seat belts for the front or the rear of the cockpit. Seats of that, so separately molded. Really, really beautiful detail. Gives it a little bit more of a 4D animated effect. And the wing parts here with a pitot tube for the side. So let's come out here. I'll quickly just have a look, show you some of the rivet detail. So as you can see, they're prioritizing the larger riveted detail areas. As you can see there. Along here as well. No reason you couldn't go in and upgrade them yourself as well if you choose to do so. They're giving you a little bit of choice. Okay, now let's have a look into some of the clear parts. Beautiful, beautiful canopy here. Absolutely pristine molding. You can see my hand perfectly through that. I'll even come in with the zoom and the focus to just show you how nice that molding canopy is, and it comes with pre-cut masks. So I believe don't really have to worry about a mold line either. Oh, maybe just on the front here. Pretty standard for a model kit with clear parts. Sometimes having to look out for seams, but the other parts of the canopy, they have parts on there. The HE219 was actually the test bed for the first ejection seat. Some beautiful photos of them testing it with the rear compartment and the canopy sheared off at the back. So you're just left with this front canopy. I believe Zoukei-Mura do a kit with that scheme in it if it's not already in this one. Or a modeler has chosen to do that scheme on his very, very beautiful aircraft to replicate the first ejection seat test bed. And then it was later utilized into the aircraft manufacturing. Let's have a look at the inner frame, and then we'll have a look at the clear parts of the actual kit for landing lights and everything. So as I was saying before, this kit comes with some beautiful inner frames for the front and rear canopies. How beautiful is that? So you can paint these up, don't have to worry about masking the inside of your canopies in this scale, as that is usually something that a lot of modelers do. There we go. And finally we will look at the last clear piece. Before we move into the instructions, which I'm super excited to have a look at as well, see how cohesive, as I have not opened this kit up before. I have a 48th scale TAR 152 in my stash. Love the look of that kit, and the instructions were very easy to follow. So this would be, I believe, potentially the sprue for those inner frames if you were to use that. So this clear piece and this one here are correlating to the inner frame 1 and then inner frame 2 for this one. So they give you a choice actually, which is really nice. We have the really large bulletproof glass at the front here. It was positioned right in front of the pilot for head-on attacks. We have got, just trying to think, radar part here, just positioned behind the canopy. We have got gun sight for the front of the aircraft and a clear instrument panel if we choose to use it. So clear instrument panels are good as they allow you to have they give you both the option of a clear one and a plastic one depending how you want to do it. The dial faces you can position painting the dials on the rear side and then backing it up so that you can see through the clear round part. Many different approaches you can use to using this and getting that one sorted. Beautiful. Okay, let's take a dive into these beautiful instruction manual. Have a piece of tape holding it here. Decals, masks, everything here. We'll look through this first and then the instruction manual. So we're getting one scheme in the kit, I believe. Nice printed decals. We'll have a look into the, oh my god, how wonderful is that? Beautiful register on these. Individual dial faces for all of the instrument panels, or we have the clusters over to the left here, being 20, 16 and 18. FKBB, G9, oh maybe two schemes actually, we've got two serial codes here. Big walkway strips, very very fine. I'll see if I can show you the register with the, there we go, you can kind of catch the film, decal film in there. Very very beautiful. And of course all legible writing, probably very well researched. There we go, big German crosses. Up that end, we put the baking paper back on that. We have got our masks in here, pre-cut, die-cut masks for what looks like the majority of the clear sections. The nose one is molded in two parts, just as it has a very compound curve. Here there is a spare part that they have obviously corrected in the development of this model. So they're saying this part is polyurethane resin. Plastic model cement won't work. Please use suitable instant glue. This part does not have a specific top, bottom, left or right side. Simply attach it to the airplane according to the shape of the molding. There we go. Though it is not mentioned in the assembly manual, attach the part resin 1 as shown in the illustration before attaching N4 on page 40. There we have it. That would be that part there. And I believe this guiding hole correlates to that, and then you have these two landing light bumps. So that's the 2 light landing light. Here you have manufacturer card, I believe. Sign your name, why not? And let's have a look. Finally, we'll have a look into this beautiful instruction manual. Let's do it. Fan club. Are you a fan? Just as much as I am? Fill this one in and you can receive something. It's in German. I can't read that. Beautiful photo here of the aircraft, of a aircraft, whether it be the one that we're making or not. I believe this is the one that the Americans captured and brought back to the States for evaluation, which is now in the Smithsonian Air Museum. We've got a couple of factoids down here. The Mark 108. These are the guns that, I'm just trying to think. These are the ones that shoot upwards and they'd catch the reflection of the bomber and then they'd shoot upwards. I believe the ME-163 Comet had these as well. So they are the 30mm auto cannons, and then these here I believe are either the 20 or 30 mil cannons that are situated just underneath the nose of the aircraft. We have a bit of information regarding the Daimler-Benz 603 engines, and we have a technical guide of this aircraft. So we're building it in sections, as you can see down here, starting with the engines, then the cockpit, mating the fuselages, building up the main wings, fuselage and main wings being mated, landing gears, and final outfitting. So here we have the two color markings, which you can see on page 42 and 44. And we have quite a bit of information relating to the actual aircraft here. The Midnight Hunter. This is all of the colors that they recommend in completing this kit here. You can go through and have a look here. And it appears that we're getting color diagrams and like versions of the kit that have been painted. So we can have a look at everything, how it builds up through this instruction manual. So we're building engine here. We've got some nice color diagrams before we go ahead and have a go at building it. So we're building it all up, and then you can obviously come back and refer to how they've painted it here with RLM02. Looks like a red hose line and blue hose line, semi-gloss or flat black, flat aluminium, neutral greys, blues, purples. Yeah, you can come across and do all of that. Here we go. After assembly, they show you what's been painted. So they're saying silver metallic, black metallic, medium blues, red, vermilions, light grey, green, which would be RLM02. Building it all up. Very, very intricate, detailed diagrams here. Cockpit, building up the cockpit. I believe you have to build two of these simultaneously of the engines, depending what you want to show. And then we have the cockpit here, all done up over this side, going together in about 2 pages worth of build. And then we have a really nice diagram, which I'll zoom in on up here, that you can see the decal placement for all of those, and the painting placement that you can see. Fuselage parts. So we'll start by doing the sidewalls of the cockpit, and then we're doing the radar compartment, noting the configuration of the assembly. With and without fairings, there's obviously 2 different options that you can use, depending which marking option I believe you choose to do. And then more parts on here, how to place those into position. And then we're starting on the fuselage, putting all these pieces together. More down this end. The cannons here that we briefly talked about being built up in position. Center of the fuselage, ventral weapons, the weapons tray. Start to speed through this one. And the tail of the aircraft. And then we're moving on into the main wing and fuselage, which you can see the gun belts and the oil compartments for those, and we'll be putting those engines that we built in the first steps in. All of this going together. And mating all of it together. So putting the fuselage, the 2 fuselage halves together, mating the wings, having enough weight in there. There we have that. Depending how you want to position the radar and everything here. Rotary antenna. So you can either use the die cast option or the plastic option, as we mentioned earlier, as they do include a white metal landing gear for the front and the rear, I believe, as well. And outfitting some of the final parts to complete your model. Putting the ailerons on, flaps, inner and outer flaps build up. You can have them positioned, retracted if you wish. And then putting the final touches onto the engines, building up the propeller. All these parts here, vertical antennas, tail antennas, doing your canopies, getting to choose whether you want the inner frame or just the clear parts, And here we have it. Marking guides here. Have the first scheme on this side. Ernest Wilhelm Modrell. Work number 190012. Has one black wing. Or we have this one over here by Manfred Mura. Mura. I don't know German, so I'm not very good at this. Number 190070, which correlates to the rear part there. Beautiful. We've got a sprue breakdown so you can check everything you've got. You've got the nose weight, which this is the die-cast setting. Die-cast landing gear for the front, rear, a metal bar, and some weights. Get your decals, and that will be the end of your HE219 instruction sheet. So, there you have it. That has been the Superwing series by Zoukei-Mura HE219AO. Beautiful, beautiful kit. If you're looking for a long-term project, a big 1/32 scale, impressive size of kits. If you want to detail up a little bit, but have so much in the box there for you to go off of, this is the kit for you. Zoukei-Mura 32nd scale HE219, or have a look at the rest of the range. Hopefully we're getting some unboxing of them done soon, so stay tuned for that. I have been Kobey from Hearns Hobbies, and we hope to see you in the next video. Until then, have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you in store. Cheers guys, have a wonderful day.